Oppo Find N review, best foldable smartphones available in 2022. Foldable smartphones are the next big thing, with companies including Motorola, Xiaomi, Huawei, Samsung, and now Oppo all dabbling with the foldable form factor. Despite being comparatively late out of the gate with the Oppo Find N, the company seems to have struck gold, with features, design, and functionality that often surpass the competition, and at a cheaper price point too. The only catch? It's a China-only smartphone for now, with no plans for Oppo to release the Find N internationally, and that's a massive disappointment considering the stellar foldable experience on offer. The Oppo Find N is, in some ways, a very familiar device. It sports the same internal fold that opens like a book as key rivals including the Huawei Mate X2 and Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3, but it introduces a few key differences that could make it the best foldable design to date. The most instantly noticeable is the size of the outer display. When the likes of the Mate X2 and Z Fold 3 are closed, they're almost comically long and slender with tall, narrow aspect ratios that look a little odd, especially Samsung's 25:9 aspect ratio. That's not the case with the Oppo Find N though. It sports a compact 5.49 inches display with an 18:9 aspect ratio for a more typical slab smartphone experience when folded, with the added bonus of being much more compact in the pocket than its rivals too. The bezel surrounding the outer display is slightly thicker than 2022 flagships, and there is a centrally placed hole punch camera that's wider than some might like, but these aren't elements that detract from the overall experience. In fact, it's something that you'll likely not notice within a day or two of using it. The phone feels reassuringly sturdy when folded, with a near-complete seal that keeps the vast majority of dust and dirt away from the internal display and hinge when put in a pocket. The occasional bit of dust or lint can still appear, but it's nowhere near as much of a worry as with the visible gap of the Z Fold 3. The phone feels reassuringly sturdy when folded, with a near-complete seal that keeps the vast majority of dust and dirt away from the internal display and hinge when put in a pocket. The occasional bit of dust or lint can still appear, but it's nowhere near as much of a worry as with the visible gap of the Z Fold 3. Both of the Find N's displays sport AMOLED tech for a bright, vibrant experience with colors that pop out of the screen, and if that's not to your taste, the vibrancy can be adjusted in the settings menu. That's essentially where the similarities end though, as unlike Huawei and Samsung, Oppo's Foldable offers a different refresh rate across the two screens. Some apps handle this better than others. TikTok and Reddit play very nicely with the large display, and you can force apps to use a windowed 16:9 or 4:3 crop of the app for a more traditional experience, but it's not perfect for all apps. What it is great for, however, is running two apps side by side, a function enabled by running two fingers down the center of the internal display. That makes it easy to keep an eye on Twitter while texting with friends on WhatsApp, though I assume Oppo has more productivity-focused use cases in mind. The form factor is also ideal for reading articles, browsing the web, and taking a closer look at snaps you've taken on the phone. It's handy for video chats too, something that can't be said of Huawei's option, which lacks an internal selfie camera. If you're looking straight on at the display, you probably won't be able to see the crease at all. It's only when viewed off-angle that you can see the warped reflection the flexible display causes. It's surprisingly robust too, with no fear or worry that I'd damage the screen or hinge by pressing on it too hard. Huawei's foldable Mate X2 goes all out on its camera offering with flagship-level snappers, while Samsung took a more conservative approach with a trio of 12MP snappers on its Galaxy Z Fold 3. Oppo finds a comfortable middle ground between the two, sporting a main-wide 50MP snapper alongside a 16MP 123° ultrawide and a 13MP 2x telephoto with the ability to capture impressive shots with a tap. You'll likely find yourself using the main 50MP snapper most of the time, thanks to impressive specs including an f1.8 aperture for decent low-light performance, multi-directional phase detection autofocus, PDAF, and optical image stabilization, OIS. It's the only one of the three lenses that offers the stabilization tech. Images captured on the main lens are bright, vibrant and incredibly detailed. Even in challenging light conditions, such as taking photos with the sun in shot, the dynamic range on offer is impressive, capturing as much detail in the sky as in shadows. Skin tones are accurate, and colors aren't as oversaturated as you'll find on some flagships. You'll find Qualcomm's Snapdragon 888 at the heart of the Oppo Find N, paired with either 8GB or 12GB of RAM and 256GB or 512GB of storage depending on the variant you opt for. It does miss out on the newer Snapdragon 8 General, one of 2022 flagships, but this was technically released just before Qualcomm revealed the upgraded processor in late 2021, and besides, it's the same processor you'll find in the equally premium Galaxy Z Fold 3. It also benchmarks well, with results in line with not only other foldables but other premium smartphones, albeit falling slightly behind 8 General 1 equipped devices, as you might imagine. There's no noticeable lag or stuttering scrolling through media-heavy apps. Animations are buttery smooth, especially on the internal 120Hz display, and the phone rarely heats up to a noticeable level. Even switching from one screen to another is seamless. Like other book-style foldables, the battery cell within the Oppo Find N is split into two halves, one on either side of the hinge mechanism, with a combined 4,500 mAh capacity, putting it just ahead of Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 3. When it comes to battery performance, it'll largely depend on how you use the Find N. If you find yourself using the smaller 60Hz cover display, a viable option thanks to a regular smartphone aspect ratio, you can easily squeeze over a day's usage, though that'll drop once you start using the larger 120Hz panel. I found myself using the cover display more than initially anticipated, and even when I was using the larger display to read articles, watch TikTok, and stream YouTube videos, I was never concerned about battery life. It's also great for gaming once you adjust for the boxy aspect ratio, though it's certainly more suited to casual games like Monument Valley than multiplayer FPS titles where the narrow field of view can be detrimental to your performance. You can adjust the aspect ratio to produce a standard 16:9 centrally placed window in competitive games, but it's not quite as immersive an experience with huge black bars. Software will likely be the biggest issue for Westerners that want to import the Oppo Find N. As with a China-only focus, it doesn't ship with Google Play. What it does come with, however, is a lot of bloatware and Chinese apps that are yet to be translated into English. In fact, that's a theme across the OS. While most of Oppo's Color OS 12 has been translated, you'll occasionally come across a menu or an app only available in Mandarin. That includes Oppo's own App Store that you'll need to use to update some of the stock apps on the phone. That being said, it is incredibly easy to get the Google Play Store onto the phone, and once installed, it behaves as you'd expect most of the time. You can download apps, install third-party keyboards, Gboard works way better than the default keyboard, and even use Google Pay in place of Oppo's mobile payment app. There are still limitations, like the lack of Google Assistant activation. You're forced to use Brino, Oppo's China-focused virtual assistant, and limitations on Android Auto, but largely speaking, it's business as usual. There are plenty of software tweaks in Color OS 12 that allow you to take advantage of the foldable form factor too. That includes an intuitive split-screen experience on the larger internal display, the ability to force any app to use the boxy aspect ratio, and the option to use the cover display as a camera viewfinder when taking snaps on the internal display, giving your subject a preview of the snap you're taking. The biggest problem with the Oppo Find N is that it's a China exclusive, with no plans for the foldable to roll out internationally in its current form, OnePlus rumors aside. That means you'll have to import one from China, and with it comes extra import fees and the need to sideload Google Play and related services onto the phone yourself. That won't be a problem for some, but it's not quite as simple as being able to order one from a local retailer or carrier. It's a shame because it's actually one of the most affordable foldables to date, with the Oppo Find N starting at an impressive 7,669 yen, approximately £910 per 1,210 United States dollars, in China, undercutting even Xiaomi's Mi Mix Fold, which costs 9,999 yen. Here's how pricing stacks up. 8GB plus 256GB minus 7,699 yen, approximately £910 per 1,070 euros per $1,210 per 92,000 rupees. 12GB plus 512GB minus 8,999 yen, approximately £1,065 per €1,255 per $1,415 per 107,500 rupees. Of course, if it did ever make it to international shores, it'd cost more than its converted price, but it could still be one of the most affordable options around, considering the Galaxy Z Fold 3 starts at a cool £1,599 per $1,799. The Oppo Find N is the most exciting foldable phone that you'll probably never be able to buy, at least without importing one from China. This is a stellar attempt at a book-style foldable, with premium build quality that surpasses that of Huawei and Samsung in most regards. The small 5.49 inches cover display provides a more traditional smartphone experience compared to comically tall alternatives, while also providing a smaller pocketable footprint.